YouTube Live, Twitter Live, which I didn't even know was a thing until recently, and LinkedIn Live. So it's going to be going to a few different spots here.
Does this mean we have to behave ourselves now?
I wouldn't mind, Glenn. In fact, can you mute yourself? No, just kidding. So, kidding.
Well,
Okay.
Megan, I better leave then if we have to behave.
Yeah,
ourselves,
no doubt.
Right?
Wow. It's going to be one of these meetings, is it? Okay. No, we are here to have fun. So let's make sure we're good. Okay. I think we're all good, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just switch my view up to speaker. Alrighty. We'll go over here. Perfect. I think we're all ready to go. All righty. So again, thank you all for jumping on here. And I hope everybody's got their pen and paper. Glenn's got his scissors there ready to go, it looks like. And before we get started here, I'm just going to get into some introductions. Just as little icebreakers. Sounds like everybody's more or less, learned who each other are. But I'll call upon you. And until you get called upon, please just leave yourself unmuted. Muted. Otherwise, it's going to create some like feedback and so forth. But I will start with Jordan and Brendan. So if you can let us know your name, which I just let everybody else know, where you're calling in from, and what was the last book you guys read or the last movie you guys watched?
Nice. We're calling in from Edmonton, and
we're at our house.
yeah, calling from
just
our
hanging
house.
out in the bonus room.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Jordan, and this is Brennan.
We might have to leave temporarily to go tend to the kids as they come in and out, but
of course.
As far as the last book that I read, I don't really have a lot of time to sit and read a book. So the last movie that I watched was Paw Patrol.
Oh yes. Paw Patrol.
Honestly, there's not much exciting going on here, but yeah, Paw Patrol was probably the last movie that I sat and watched.
And I'm sure that was your choice, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks, Brendan. Jordan. Okay, Marcy.
Unmute. Hi, I'm calling from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, of course. The last book I read was The Home of the Unwanted Girls, which was fabulous. And the last movie I watched was King Richard, the one that Will Smith won the Oscar for.
Oh, excellent. Pre-slap Will Smith.
Yeah.
Pre-slap Will Smith.
Awesome.
Don't let me get my opinion on the slap, okay, Matt? Okay. Bye.
That'll be for after hours. Awesome. Thanks. Okay, Cindy.
Hi, everyone. So I haven't read any books, even though I was in Mexico for 2 months this winter. I didn't read one book. Enjoying the sun and the beach,
Fantastic.
And the same with movies. I don't spend a lot of time in front of the TV for specific things. I record a lot, and I did watch the Oscars though.
Nice.
Where are you calling in from?
Oh, I'm calling in from Nelson, British Columbia.
Yes, Nelson. Yeah. Represent. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. Great. Okay, Megan with an H.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm calling in from Vernon, BC.
Nice.
The book I'm still currently reading is called The Passionate Marriage.
Passionate Marriage. Excellent.
Yeah, it's sort of about growing, changing through yourself, your partner, differentiation, things like that. So it's nonfiction, entertaining and relatable.
Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, Darcy.
That is my name. I am in Lethbridge, Alberta right now. It is windy as shit out here. Pardon my language, but it is quite windy out here. I was not expecting that. I know they call it the Windy City, but anyway. The last book that I read was the Harry Potter series. Just finished it not that long ago, and I am currently working on Angela's Ashes, which is kind of a memoir from a guy who grew up in poor Catholic Ireland in the Depression era. So it sounds depressing, but it's actually pretty funny. So
it's funny. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Unexpected, eh?
He's
awesome. Oh, sorry about that. I totally cut you off.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Anyway, I'm done my little rant. I'm here at Lethbridge and reading Angela's Ashes.
Awesome. Thanks, Darcy. Okay, Craig and Roxy.
Hi, Roxanne. We're calling in from, and my husband Craig, and we're calling in from just an hour outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is the last book I am currently reading.
Ooh, Mindhunter.
It's pretty interesting. I'm not very far into it yet, but it looks pretty good so far. How about you?
And I've got about 5 books on the go because I can't put them all down. So I think the one that sticks out right now the most is one by a hostage negotiator from the FBI who is basically says, don't settle for anything in between. Don't settle for the middle.
Ooh, I've heard of this.
Yeah,
I've heard of
it's
this
quite
book.
a good book.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Yeah, you'll have to let me know how that finishes up.
Don't split the difference. Is the
That's
title.
it. Totally. Yeah, I've heard of that one. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Really
Awesome. All right. Lastly, but not leastly, the man with the scissors, Glenn.
I shall unmute myself. I'm Glenn. I live in Edmonton on the exact opposite side of the city that Matt does, not for any reason. The last book I finished recently was Billy Summers by Stephen King, and I'm currently reading Tim Lebbon's Alien Invasion, which is a 3-part series involving the iconic characters, the Predators and aliens from the 20th Century Fox franchise.
Nice.
Last movie I watched was Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire last night with my kids because they took interest in Spider-Man all of a sudden. Nice. So I showed them the real Spider-Man movie because I hate Tom Holland. And I can't remember what else I was supposed to speak on after that.
No, that's perfect, man.
That was
Thanks.
it. Okay.
That's all she wrote. Thanks, Glenn. Alrighty, well, let's get down to it. Thanks. A little icebreaker. I get, the little networking going on. Nice to meet y'all. And let's go. Sorry, I got some Cole's notes. Bear with me here, guys. We talked about the pen and paper. Okay, as we enter, so the whole reason that we have you here today, that Megan and I created this event, is we're heading into springtime. There's a whole different energy shift I find around springtime, right? It's lighter out later, but there's something very different about this particular spring. I've found, it's 2 years coming out of this like COVID sort of pandemic hibernation that we've been in. And, last year was like, I think everybody was eager to get back to life as it was normal. And we kept thinking that this pandemic is going to go away. And, and it's just strange. I don't know how it is for you guys, but coming out of the second year, there's this whole extra accumulation of uncertainty and like anxiety that didn't come up like last spring. So, this whole event that we're doing here that Megan and I have put on tonight is all about, speaking to ourselves and being more nice to ourselves, and then as a result, nicer to the people around us as well. There's a lot of division right now, and there's a lot of people on sort of high alert coming out of these last 2 years. So we wanted to really focus on some more positive energy type stuff. So that's what we're going to get into. So Megan is starting off with creating happiness, and that is her portion that she's doing. And then I'm doing a part called action language, which is all about inner dialogue, about how we communicate with ourselves. And then, as soon as you can kind of really focus in on that and dial that in, then it just sort of goes into the way that you communicate with the rest of your family, the rest of, like, if you have a business or if you're in a business, how you're communicating with others. So without further ado, I would love to invite my friend and fellow coach, Megan McLaren, to the Zoom stage, please.
Oh, thank you for the introduction. I'm going to share my screen. I told you you are in charge of making me co-host. So you have to make me co-host so I can share my screen with everybody.
I wish we had done this beforehand. I am trying to remember how to do this now.
So there should be like 3 little dots beside my name.
Beside your name. Okay, perfect.
Make co-host.
Yes, thank you. And we are going to go make host. Brilliant. Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Looks like we're in business. 1 second.
Okay. Remember, you're also going to be in charge of making sure it presents well for everybody. Looks good? Okay,
It
awesome.
looks good on my iPhone SE. I can barely see.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so like Matt so eloquently said, I'm going to be talking to you guys about creating happiness. So my name's Megan, as he said, Megan with just a G. So thank you guys so much for being here with us. We're so excited to spend the evening with you and so appreciative of you guys taking this time. So I am a registered social worker and also a life coach. I am a mother and a stepmother as well, and I've been practicing in the field for well over 8 years now. And my own transformative journey really started to take place in 2019 after the birth of my twin daughters. So after their birth, I suffered with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety for well over a year. And once we were approaching their first birthday, I decided it was time to take control of my own happiness and create a life which really aligned with my core values. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about some simple strategies that I used to create my version of happiness and still use today when I feel things are starting to slip a little bit. So 3 tools I'm going to talk to you guys about are going to be engagement, learning to pause, and just getting back to basics. So being a busy mother of twins and also having 2 teenage stepsons, I needed simple. So that's when I began focusing on these 3 tools because I could manage to use them and incorporate them no matter how busy I was. So the concept of happiness really looks different for everyone, and we may all use like different words to describe happiness. Some may be being love or joy or accomplishment. I've heard vitality. The list is really endless, but the tools that my clients and I find the most helpful, again, are those ones that you can use anywhere, anytime, and they're not impacted by your financial means. And that was what was most important for me when I started my journey to creating a life of happiness. So the first one that I want to start talking to you guys about is engagement. And so engagement happens when we are fully immersed and paying attention to what you are doing in the present moment. When our minds are more focused on the present, we get away from the overthinking, which can certainly be something that steals our joy and our overall feeling of happiness, and something that I was coming up with a lot. So mindfulness means really paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, and in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So setting aside time for engagement and mindfulness is something that I actually practice daily now. So evenings tend to work best for me, just on my schedule with our kids. And so that's when I set aside intentional time to be present, allowing my thoughts to come, but not labeling them or passing judgment on them. So how many people here find themselves kind of missing moments? Maybe you're driving to work and not even realizing how you got there already, or you're functioning just in a constant state of emergency. I'm going to see if anybody just raises their hand. Looking. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so that's going to lead me into the next topic that I really had to begin incorporating, and one that my clients find really beneficial as well, and that is learning to pause. So I myself have always been a busy person, both physically and mentally. My body doesn't stop, and neither does my mind. So I like to say that I'm a master at multitasking, and I used to actually hold that as a point of pride. But what I didn't realize was that multitasking and functioning in a go, go, go mentality was actually creating more stress for myself and taking away from my overall sense of happiness. So I had to teach myself to pause. And just so you know, not many people are good at this. So learning to intentionally pause is actually a skill. So learning to control your sense of urgency and need to move on to the next item or start your next task is very normal. But how often do we actually pause to enjoy the present moment when we have successes? Research actually shows that when something negative happens, we take much more time to pause and we give it much more of our energy than when something positive happens. And so if this is something that resonates with you guys, I would encourage you to actually start setting your timer to remind yourself to pause, because that's what it took for me. I set a timer on my phone. I chose to do it 3 times a day in small increments of only 5 minutes, because at first, learning to pause felt very uncomfortable for me. I'm a serving person by nature, I'm a social worker and life coach by nature, so I naturally want to serve others before I serve myself. But this tactic to learn to pause allowed me to pick a time that worked well for me, set the time so that I had the reminder to do it, and have that intentional space to focus on what I needed. And by setting the timer, I was able to practice it pretty routinely. And as we know, in order to create some new habits, we need to incorporate those strategies fairly routinely. So for me, pausing really meant that I was more present, whether it was with my children or my family or whatever moment I was hoping to be more present in. Sometimes that was just being present with myself. And then I was able to let go of some of those stress hormones and that go, go, go mentality and create that space that I so desperately needed in that phase of my life. So if you are someone that requires that time alone to simply pause, that's okay too. I'm still going to encourage you to set your timer so that you have that time to pause, even if it's just to be alone with yourself. So the last tool that I want to talk to you guys about, or that I talk to my clients a lot about, is something that I just call getting back to basics. So getting back to basics sometimes sounds pretty simple, and it can be, but most people that sit in front of me in my office actually don't incorporate those basic things like eating regularly, getting restful sleep, moving their body intentionally. And so a common theme of the clients that I work with, and for myself too, was that I wasn't prioritizing those basic functioning needs. So when I was taking the time to pause and reflecting upon what I needed, that was when I was actually noticing that, hey, I actually haven't eaten today, or hey, I'm completely exhausted, or I've been changing diapers and picking up toys all day, and I haven't actually moved my body in a way that feels good for me and is intentional and enjoyable for me. So if adding on another goal or task onto your agenda seems a bit overwhelming if you're not even meeting those basic needs for yourself, then getting back to basics is probably the strategy that might fit well for you. Because as we know, especially for parents, we tend to put our own needs on the back burners. And if you're someone that has taken a plane before, I'm sure you've heard them say to you that you need to put the life mask on yourself before you help others. And so this is one way that I encourage clients to do that. So when you take that time for the intentional pause, asking yourself what you need and noticing if you're meeting those basic requirements can just start to kind of tilt the scales in a way to you actually pouring more into yourself and practicing some self-care that you definitely need. But one thing that I want to make sure you're doing well before we start talking about new habits and things to take on. So if you're taking this time to prioritize yourself, I want you to make sure that these back to basic things are actually at the top of your priority list before we're putting those sort of non-urgent things that I know we like to classify as urgent, but aren't always on the docket, back into your routine. So whether that's going for a peaceful walk or dancing in your kitchen or participating in an activity that you authentically enjoy, those are all those basic things that we need to incorporate back into your schedule, especially if you notice that you're having an off day or your energy is low. If you can just pause to ask yourself, okay, can I get back to basics right now? What do I need? And if it's eating, sleeping, or moving your body, I'm sure that one of those things will help to tilt you back into the right direction for improving your overall happiness. So this is really just like the tip of the iceberg for what I start talking about with clients. There are so many different topics that we could go into, but this is some of like the bread and butter of what I really do. And it's about putting you, like I said, back at the top of your priority list. And so I want to hear from you guys what you're either currently doing to create happiness for yourself, or if there's maybe some takeaways from what I just talked about and how you're going to move forward after tonight to maybe incorporate one of those 3 strategies. This is the time where Matt said he's just going to call on people probably.
I'll start with myself. Like, first off, awesome presentation. Thanks, Megan. The one thing that really hit home for me that oh, sorry, Trip, that I've used before, it like in the work setting, but I definitely start using now, is the use of a timer. I love that idea. So as far as it reminds you, because it's so easy, like to your point, it's so easy to forget to do that, or you put yourself on the back burner. And unless you've like actually, and to your point, as far as like learning a new habit, to set yourself a timer, to be that deliberate about it and to create like a pattern disrupt from that, I think that's a wonderful idea. And I also like how you mentioned like what movements, because I was going to ask him like, well, what do you mean by moving?
Yeah,
So you mentioned even like dancing. So, these types of things is great.
Yeah, a lot of people sometimes are a bit like adverse to the idea of movement because they associate it with exercise, which sometimes has a bit of a negative connotation to it. And so that's why I don't care how you move your body. I just want it to feel good for you. And so for me today, because I sit at a desk for my entire day working, I did actually move my body in my kitchen by dancing to a song, and that felt good for me, and it did give me a bit of a mood boost. And so that's just one of those things that you can use that time to check in with yourself about. I missed a comment in the chat though. I think Ed had his hand raised, which I didn't know Ed was on the call with you, Mars, but if he still has a question, he can ask.
No, I meant he had his hand up when you asked, I don't know, that's the first question. I don't know, you guys asked something and you said,
does anybody drive to work and not realize how they got there?
No, that's what it was about.
Oh yeah.
You can't see his hand.
So, and then I'm thinking too, like there's a lot of people that are working from home right now, or there's like the hybrids sort of working, like for example, Darcy, like when you're hearing these types of things, like what kind of things do you do? It's easy for you to have your day get away on you, and you have sort of a hybrid, you have movement, but you're kind of behind the computer. What sort of things do you use as pattern disrupts or anything to kind of boost your mood, if anything, or is there any takeaways from what Megan was mentioning that you would use as well?
Yeah, actually, I really like the back to basics thing. The analogy of the oxygen mask goes on you before you help anyone else is just like, it's a good reminder, right? We all kind of forget that kind of thing. So I guess for me, I forget to eat a lot during the day, and I eat my breakfast every single day, and then I go for my entire day. And then today was a prime example. I'm like, no, I can't do anything else until I have a freaking meal, because I'm going to rip someone's head off soon. Right.
Totally.
Yeah. So just like reminding myself, and maybe it is like something as simple as like setting a timer for that kind of thing, just so that I remember to like eat regularly or take a drink of water every now and then, so that I'm not like super dehydrated. The moving one is another one that I should definitely incorporate a little bit more. Again, in front of my computer for 6 hours in a row, it's tough on the body sometimes, or driving 4.5 hours to Lethbridge or whatever the case may be, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And for people who are on their feet all day, and Matt will get this and you'll get this obviously working for Savon. I used to be on my feet all the time too, but that wasn't a movement that I enjoyed, right? So for people who are like, well, I'm on my feet all day, I'm like, yeah, but that's not like dancing or doing like playing soccer or something that you love and enjoy. So it doesn't have the same impact on your brain if you're doing that movement and it's not an enjoyable movement. So that's why I just, turned on Spotify and had a little dance in my kitchen today. Made me laugh at myself and just kind of perked me up.
I like the idea of a solo dance party. It always cheers me up for sure.
So then for Roxy, like I know you've been working a lot remotely as well. Like what is your system for, for getting up and moving like during the day? Like what does it look like for you, like working from home as you have been, to kind of keep your energy going and that sort of thing? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I've been working from home since pre-pandemic times. Like my job is a work from home job. So that's not going to change for me going forward. I tend to just get up probably once an hour and walk around the house, or I'll quickly do some dishes, like take 5 minutes and quickly wash some dishes, which I enjoy doing. I know it's not something everybody loves, but I love doing it. So I tend to do little things like that just to get up away from my desk. I also have a sit-stand desk. So I will stand and kind of walk in place while I'm working sometimes, just to get the blood flowing. So
I bet you that desk was like a game changer for you, eh? That's a really good idea to have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Does anyone take time to pause during their day? Do you have time for yourself where you're not doing something else for someone else and you're just kind of sitting alone with yourself?
Does my shower count?
That's like basic hygiene. So I hope that you have more time for yourself. I'm going to be on Matt to set your
shower, I
timer.
promise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a relaxing shower for
Okay.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Hey, Megan, I actually downloaded an app like to do a little bit of meditation, and it actually is only a 10-minute thing, but yeah, it sure definitely added a mood booster.
Awesome.
A bit of my background too. 2 years working from home has definitely changed me.
Mhm.
I was an extrovert to the nth degree before all this COVID hit, and now I tend to be a little more introverted. So I find that my moods did change over that time, working from home and being more isolated, and just not having those everyday interactions. But I have a really good friend who keeps me in check, and and she tells me to, get back to basics often, and what fills my cup and makes me, aware of those things, and gets me to write lists about what fills me with joy. So some of those things are, family. So I make more time for family, and drinking water because it gives me energy, get outside, walk the dogs, get some sunshine, and really taking that time and making a priority has really turned things around for me in the last few months, for sure.
Awesome.
And that friend is Megan, by the way.
I was going to say, it sounds very eerily familiar, the content which you're speaking of.
Yeah,
But
that's
it works.
fantastic.
It works, Matt. It works. It really
Excellent.
does. Yeah, it really works.
I think the biggest takeaway that I hear from that too is that it's 10 minutes, right? And so we're not asking you to incorporate strategies that are like an hour. Even there's apps out there for meditation strategies that are 1 to 2 minutes. And so even having those types of mini breaks for yourself multiple times throughout the day is helpful. And so however you can design it for yourself, we want you to do that. Like, you're in charge, you get to create it however it works for you.
And consistency is the key too.
Yeah, you got it, Mars. A+ student, like, come on. Yeah.
I always do my homework.
Awesome. Any other shares from anybody? Anybody else? Does that resonate with you, or? Alrighty. Fair enough. Okay. I'm going to thank you, Megan. Excellent presentation. Thank you so much. That was great. I loved your slideshow. I'm going to go without the safety net. No slideshow for me. I'm going to potentially regret that. We'll see. So I'm going to hop right into, so it's action language. So what I'm talking about tonight is about the way we approach ourselves with our own inner dialogue. So recently I just interviewed about, I want to say a little over 20 people. And some of these people are on the call, actually, so they'll know who I'm talking about. And out of the questions, it was unanimous. A lot of people were saying the way they talk to themselves when they make a mistake, for example, is very derogatory, and it's usually learned. It could be maybe a parent that or a teacher or somebody that you have that voice in your head that's very like, oh, you dummy, like you screwed it up again. I knew this was going to happen. This type of person that shows up for you, right? So what we're going to do here is really focus on identifying that and bringing more of an awareness to that and correcting that, because it's definitely something you've learned. And let's face it, we've been running these patterns and programs for probably our entire childhood and adult life. And so the more awareness that we can, shine on this, the easier it will be to change. So that's what action language is about, is getting out of and getting rid of your stuck patterns that you have. And then as soon as you're more friendly with yourself, it has no choice but to bleed over into the folks that you're talking to every day as well. So I'm going to start with this one's called, it's fun. It's called the Soft Talk Challenge. So this is where the pen and paper come in. So I'd like you all to write out the following words. And what I'm going to ask you to do is post it somewhere in your house. So I have it up in my study here, and I've had it. Darcy will be able to testify with this. I've had it up in my study since I think June 30th, 2021. So it's the soft talk keywords, and they're just in my face every day. And what I do is I look at my emails or text messages, not every time, but if I need a reminder, and I go, okay, am I using any of these words? So basically what these words are doing are creating ambiguity and non-committal sentences, basically, right? So you'll see when I start with them. So please get your pen and paper ready, and I will read them to you right now. So soft talk keywords, we're going to start with guess, maybe, might, sort of, could, think, possibly, probably, hope, try, and one day. So I think you can see where I'm going with a lot of these words. Like when you are, for me personally, they showed up in, and I'll give you two examples for myself. When I get invited out to something, I generally will give a soft talk response. Be like, yeah, I'll probably be there. Oh, it looks like Justin, are you on? Beauty. Okay, nice. How's it going, Justin? Awesome. Thanks for hopping on. So yeah, so that is where it shows up for me for sure. And we'll get into the reasons why we use these soft talk words, and that's kind of part of the fun. And the other reason that I found out quite later on that I really, better late than never, but I found I was using a lot of soft talk in my management style. And the reason for that is to sort of temper my message that I was giving, as far as, whether I'm dealing with like a sensitive person or a younger person, or I just didn't want to come across like super assertive. I always had a bad taste in my mouth of certain bosses that would be like, those really aggressive, over the top bosses. So I overcompensated the other way. So I would do a lot of soft talk in the hopes that I was sort of tempering my message and kind of being that cool, personable, harmonious manager, right? Not realizing that, and my intention was not to obviously not to muddy the waters and have this ambiguous message coming out, but unfortunately that is one of the byproducts of using some of this soft talk. So we've got the words all written down. So if you guys, just have some fun with it, if you can post it, I always suggest put it on your fridge, or like maybe on a bathroom mirror, somewhere where it's going to be in your face. And what it's going to do is really bring some awareness to these words, and you'll start catching yourself. And that's what it is for me. Trust me, it's 30 years plus of using these words. So it's been tricky for me to do. But just the fact that we're just getting, it's repetition. We were talking about with Marcy and Megan, we're just meant consistency, repetition. And before you know it, it's going to start getting into your psyche and your mindset. And before you know, you're going to make the changes. For me, I will stop myself mid-sentence and go back and correct myself sometimes. So, which is kind of fun too. So, yeah. And then if you put these up and, if you're on Instagram or whatever, by all means, please, tag myself and Megan and have a picture of it. That'd be great. So anyways, I kind of in confirmation, soft talk is basically non-committal, ambiguous words. The words here, you can hear trout in the background there as well. So it's kind of the difference between saying, I might be there tonight, or I will see you at 7 p.m. sharp. Very different messages, right? So, and soft talk does have its time and place, as we've mentioned, and it's big in some cultures where they're kind of worried about, especially in business meetings. Like I'm thinking of like Asian cultures specifically, where it's they don't want to. They're very sort of testy, where they don't want to get into a pissing competition. It's all about being respectful, and like they're very much tempering their ego, so they're kind of beating a little bit of beating around the bush and all that, just to kind of keep the drama down, right? So that, there is time and place for soft talk, don't get me wrong, but where you really want to make sure that you're firming up the soft talk is with yourself specifically, It's like, if you're catching yourself in your inner dialogue using soft talk, try and eliminate that as quickly as possible. And we'll get into that right away here. We're going to get into soft talk goals, and this is going to be kind of fun. So that would be it. And it's, it's the other thing to keep in mind as well. So when you're thinking, okay, for me as or if you're in a leadership role, what you would want to do. So, okay, so how would I've corrected myself now, knowing what I know? I would use solid talk, but with manners. So the manners at the end, just a simple please or thanks, is enough to sort of temper that presentation that I was worried about. And then I was overcompensating with the soft talk. So that's the difference between going, this is the soft talk one. Yeah, if you have time, could you maybe get that done tonight? Like that would be my, maybe not, that's a little over the top, but you get the idea. Versus, I need you to get this done tonight before you go home, please. So solid manners, it's concise, it's clear. People like when you're clear, right? So that's the difference between soft and solid talk. So here we go. Soft talk goals. So I'd like you all to write down one personal or professional goal that you've had for 2022. I'll give you a minute to write it down, and I'm going to call somebody out of the audience up for this game here. So one personal or professional goal that you have for the remainder of 2022. And write it out just as you normally would. Don't worry about just as normal. Okay. All right. I am going to call upon a good friend of mine, Brendan Kobayashi. Brendan, are you there?
There we are.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes. Okay, Brendan, what was your personal or professional goal for 2022, please?
My professional goal would be to be more forward and I guess more forward at work and stuff with how I ask of people what to do and stuff like that.
Cool. Perfect.
That makes sense. Like
as
far as like when I'm conducting myself like questions towards supervisors, or then and then reflecting that down to say my apprentice or whatever, being more direct and being more forward in that sense.
Awesome. So if you could sum that up into one sentence, be like, I want to be more forward at work, something along those lines. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say that, when you have that goal and you're presenting it, how does that feel for you?
Achievable, definitely achievable.
Cool.
It's just more, I guess, personal barriers that I need to break down with myself when talking to people, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. Makes sense. Okay, so let's purposely add 2 soft talk words in there. So I want to be more forward at work. Let's add in the word possibly and hope in there, and just say the sentence again, but inject some soft talk in there.
I hope to be more forward. I don't know. I hate being put on the spot, Matt.
Sorry, buddy. Okay. No, that's good. So basically it would be like, I possibly be more forward.
Yeah.
Hope to be more forward at work, possibly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could, the point I'm trying to make is like the difference, the different feel between the 2 sentences, right? So
yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so you got Jordan beside you there. Jordan, what is your personal or professional goal for 2022?
My personal goal is to be a more gentle parent.
Ooh.
To parent more gently.
Very good. How does that feel to say?
Good. It's difficult to do.
Right. That's why it's a goal.
It's a little more difficult to do with a 4-year-old than it is with a 1-year-old, but I mean, it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. No, that's great. That's a good one. I like the way you worded it, the gently. Okay. So let's throw in a couple of soft talk words there. So can you throw in like sort of and maybe in the same sentence?
Okay, I guess I can sort of maybe parent more gently.
Yes, yes. So you can see how yeah, the difference between the two. Okay,
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
How does that one feel to say though? Like aside from the laughing at the end, like how does it differentiate from the first time?
Well, the second time is not as like committed as the first time
Mm,
is. Like there's a lot more commitment with the first phrase, I guess, than there is with the second phrase, because the second phrase has a lot of like you said, soft words to it.
definitely, definitely. So I'm interested, while I still got you guys on, thank you, by the way, both of you. How is it different from when you say something in your head as a goal versus when you're presenting it to somebody?
I guess it's easier to say things in your mind than it is to do it in the moment, depending on the circumstance, or depending on what is actually happening, because I think reaction is what drives a lot of the way people say things. So if it's more of an argumentative or a more heated conversation, then your reaction is going to be more heated. Whereas I don't know.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Some of the other things I'm thinking of is like for me, it's like there's like a degree of uncertainty. Like I'll say it with certainty in my head, and then somebody asks me about it. I'm like, yeah, like I kind of want to
Totally.
do this because I'm like uncertain about it. Right. So I think
Mhm.
that comes up to a degree as well. Thanks guys. That's awesome. So who else is up here next? Justin Van Buskirk joining us from, is it Austin, Texas still, Justin?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So what would you say, thanks for hopping in. What would you say when you're presenting a goal and you have that, like a degree of soft talk they're using in your presentation? What would be a reason for that? What would cause that?
Fear,
Mm,
uncertainty, doubt. Yeah, those are some things that come up for me.
definitely. Definitely. No, it's you know what? Great stuff. There was Megan, when Megan, co-host Megan, you had one that was really good and you nailed it on the head. What was it that we were talking about before we got started with this one?
I think, yeah, actually Justin hit it. We were talking about how like soft talk is a way for us to prepare ourselves for failure. And so we feel like if we say, well, I'll try to lose 10 pounds, when it doesn't happen, we might feel like that's going to lessen the blow for us or lessen the disappointment. But that's not the case. When you don't hit the goal, you're still disappointed anyways. And so by using that soft language, it is non-committal, right? And it's not forcing you to step into that fear and say like, no, I'm actually going to crush this goal.
Totally. No, for sure. I love that. Yeah, it's like an asterisk on your statement, right? It's like that. I want to do this, but it's like this release point to your goal. So yeah, so that's soft goals. So that's the difference between just saying I will get this done by this time versus maybe I'll get this done, kind of the same ideas. And I think we all do it, right? I'm guilty of it. I'm sure everybody on this call has done it from time to time, specifically when you're presenting it to somebody, right? Because you don't want to come across as maybe braggadocious, right? And again, it's all about like tempering what your hopes and needs are, because you're worried about what their perception of how you're coming across. So interesting stuff anyways. And so I purposely left out the most insidious, the most problematic of all soft talk words for the final language game of the evening. And it's called the should detox. So should is the most tricky of the soft talk words. And, I think Tony Robbins coined the phrase that we should all over ourselves, which I thought was rather funny. So we're going to do this up. We're going to walk ourselves out of a should statement, step by step, word by word. So who would like to be the guest for the should detox? Any hands? Any volunteers? I'll just pick somebody. Oh, Brendan again, bringing the wood. Sounds good. Hop on, buddy.
I'll do it if there's no takers.
Rad.
Oh,
Thanks, buddy.
fail my way through this.
Okay. So what I need from you is a I should statement. So something, and it could be anything to do with even what you just mentioned.
I should go to bed at a decent time.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna type this above just so I stand. Go to bed on time. Okay, so just say that one more time. And how does it feel when you have like the word should in there?
I should go to bed on time. It's disappointing in itself.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Fair enough. So it's disappointing. It makes you feel disappointed in yourself. Is that the feel that he gets from?
Just in the sentence, just from saying it, yeah. Like there's all disappointment. There's just failure in the sentence. I should.
Wow.
Just in just in the word should. There's there's I don't know if you're directing it toward yourself. There's self-doubt. There's self-failure. All in should.
100%. I've never heard of somebody explain it like that. It's really cool. I like that. Failure within the sentence. Okay. So what we're going to do, Brendan, now is we're going to pluck out the word should. I'm going to toss that one aside now. And we're going to put in could. So I could go to bed on time. So read that out. And
I could go to bed on time. It's giving yourself more option, more,
less feeling of failing.
Less feeling of, less doubt on yourself.
Less doubt. So I need even just the way that you read it, the inflection on the word could was definitely
it's like
different.
Should is like dark and cloudy, and could is like a warm sunny day morning. Ooh. It's like, oh, it's what could we do today?
Oh, I like it.
Should I do today?
Love it. Super cool. I like that. Okay, well, let's take it one step further. So we're going to take the could out, and we're going to put can. So we'll try a can.
Can.
Say yourself.
What can I do today? That's okay. So that's more uplifting too. It's
so can you read the sentence though? So go like, I can go to bed on time, and just see how that feels.
Oh yeah, I can go. Yeah, sorry, I'm changing. Yeah, I can go to bed on time. Yeah, that's positive,
right? Even just the way you're presenting it, you're a little more bouncy about it, right?
Yeah.
I can go to bed on time. Okay. So big difference from should to could to can.
Yeah.
Safe to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just on a side note, before we finish off with the last part here, do you find that you use the word should when you're speaking to, say, Jordan, or even to yourself? Like, do you use the word should? Does it come up a lot for you in this kind of context?
Between rather than could, or yeah,
I mean, if he came back at me saying I should take out the garbage, I probably would be like, no, you will take out the garbage.
Okay, so you correct him. You correct Brendan's soft talk. Okay, right on. That's good.
So I don't know if should comes at me very often.
There we go. So if it's any kind of should, it's behind the scenes. It's in his own head. All right. That's too funny. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay. So final sentence, we're going to supercharge this one, Brandon. So we're going to add because, and I'll tell you why afterwards. So I can go to bed on time because, and then I want you to finish the sentence, but say the full thing first.
I can go to bed on time because there's nothing stopping me.
Ooh. There we go. Man, you just committed to it essentially, didn't you?
Except Netflix, phone.
Oh yeah. There we go. Now the sentences, he starts growing a bit. Yeah. Too funny. Okay. One more time though. Let's do I can go to bed on time because.
I can go to bed on time because I can.
Fair enough. You're capable. Because I'm capable. All right. Awesome. So thanks guys. That's awesome. So what the because does, there's actually a study on this. It was like the Photocopier Study. I don't know if that's the exact name, but it involves this, and you'll see why. So there was one guy at this workplace, and they monitored this. He would butt in line, and he would go, hey, I just need to make some copies. And as soon as he had a because statement, the people that allowed him to butt in line went up like 30 or 35%. And to the point that he would even say, hey, I need to butt in line because I need to make some copies. And people, oh, well, go ahead then. Clearly you need to make copies. So the words because when you're doing goal setting, very much supercharge your goal that you're trying to set. So in this case, you went from like you said, it was kind of had a pathetic feel, like a sad feel, like I should go to bed on time. It's clearly you're not going to accomplish that. Whereas by the end, when you do that, I can go to bed on time because I am capable of doing such. It has a much more committed feel to it, right? So that is that's like should detox. So if you ever find yourself shoulding yourself, or you're approaching a goal or something you want to change about yourself with the word should, pluck the word should out. And even if you have to walk yourself through it with the could, can, because, or skip right to can and because. And just remember the because thing will, adding because at the end of a sentence will supercharge any goal that you're looking to set. So thanks again, guys. And you know what we're going to do? We're getting to wrap things up here. There's one more thing we'd like to do. I just like to leave the final thought here on action language is the dictionary definition of a spell. So spell is, as everybody would think, it says magical connotations, which it does. But the actual dictionary definition of a spell, when we're talking about words here and everything, is a series of words used to control or influence people as though it has magic power over them. So that is the power of words and what words have, over us and over, the people that your loved ones and people that you're close to. So it's very important that we pay attention to the words and the way that we present ourselves and the way that we talk to ourselves. So I just wanted to leave you guys all with that final note. And yeah, aside from that, we do have one last thing that we like to do here on Wednesdays. It's called What If Wednesday. And so Megan and I have a podcast that we do certain shows on throughout the week, and she hops on for a couple. There's the Toastmaster one and What If Wednesday. So Megan, do you mind hopping on and letting everybody know what If Wednesday is? And we'll just do a quick around the horn with everybody. Everybody will have a what if statement, and then we'll wrap things up here. And again, thanks for everybody for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. So What If Wednesday is an opportunity for you to reframe your day, reframe the projections that you're putting out into the future. So we're taking all those what if statements that tend to have a bit of a negative connotation to them and reframing them for endless possibilities. What if I get the job? What if I change my life? What if I have a great day today? And so it's just an awesome way for us to start our day, because Matt and I usually do it in the morning, and make the possibilities endless of all the good things to come.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Okay. So yeah, I'll start it off here. So it's cool because, like, generally speaking, like as Megan says, it's easy for us to do the what if the bad stuff, right? Like, oh, what if it snows tomorrow? What if the roads are crappy? So it's an intentional shift of that. So I'm going to start with this. What if it's plus 18 tomorrow and all the snow in the backyard melts? Something like that. So Megan, would you care to go next?
What if all our paperwork goes through smoothly for the girls' passports and I'm in sunny Mexico soon?
Ooh, just leveled that one up big time. Okay. Roxy and Craig, what are your what ifs for What If Wednesday?
I have no idea. I'm going to go with what if everything goes smoothly with our move? Then we'll be sitting on a lake on paddle boards in a month's time.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Yes.
Very...
Seconded.
There we go. That's like double down on that one for sure. That's good. That's good. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Jordan and Brendan, what are your what ifs?
Okay, you go.
Oh
my God. I'm still thinking of it.
Yeah.
What if it snows 3 feet tomorrow?
That's a negative.
No, maybe Brendan likes snow. That's okay.
Yeah. No. For those, no. Sorry, that was negative. Shoot. You go.
I don't know. That's
pass.
a hard one. The what if
What if your kids sleep through the night tonight and you guys are so rested
That
tomorrow?
would be, yes, there you go. Yeah, no, that is
yeah,
a good one. Thank you.
Especially our second.
Especially our youngest one. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Thank
There we
you.
go.
That is a good
See?
one.
One mom to
parent
another.
to another.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cindy, what's your what if?
Well, I'll take it off from Megan. What if the girls get their passports and then I'll be going to Mexico with them?
Ooh, there we go. Love it. Nicely done. Excellent. Thank you very much. Marcy.
What if I win the lottery on Friday and then I would to join Megan in Mexico and probably even pay for it for her too.
I like that one too.
Oh, I did the probably. I will pay for it.
Good catch.
Nice.
Good catch. Love it. Nice job. Nice job, Marcy. Excellent. Okay. Darcy rhymes with Marcy. Darcy?
Nice. What if I actually have enough hours in the day tomorrow to get everything done?
You're looking for a 26-hour day.
I'm looking for like a 30-hour day right now. Yeah.
Fair enough. Excellent. Thank you. Wolverine's Claws, aka Glenn White. What is your what if?
First of all, if it warms up to plus 18 tomorrow, Matt, you're going to flood my basement. So,
oh man, sorry to do that to you.
What if our renovation / restoration team are out of my house in 2 days and we can have our house back to normal?
Ooh, that's a good one. I hope that for you too. I'll double what if that one for you. Awesome. Thanks, Glenn. Megan with an H. What is your what if?
My what if is, what if everything just works out? What if my plan and my paperwork and everything works and I will be living in Mexico in a year?
Oh, everybody's going to Mexico.
I
Fantastic.
know.
That's great. Yeah. I guess you'll meet everybody down there. Awesome. That's a place to be, apparently.
Yeah,
Awesome.
there's a theme.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan.
Thanks.
And lastly, but not leastly, Mr. Justin, what is your what if for What If Wednesday?
Yeah. What if I am able to bring in clients here and not have to scramble to make ends meet at the last minute? Yeah, that's for me in the longer phase. I got a what if for tomorrow is what if I'm able to have a really focused work day and have a lot of fun throughout.
Oh yeah, man. That's good. Combining work with fun. Yeah, that's a must. Awesome. Thanks, brother.
You.
Right on. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for hopping into that the game there at the end of What If Wednesday. But honestly, really appreciate. Oh, there's Luna. Where'd she go? Hello. But yeah, is there any other shares or any other like questions or anything that you guys wanted to mention before we wrap things up here? If not, just throw your hand up and we can sign off. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Anybody else at all want to say anything?
Thanks for hosting, you guys. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We so appreciate your time and spending it with us and allowing us to practice and infuse our stuff into you guys. So thanks again.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We'll put a wrap on it then, unless anybody's got anything else, but yeah, thanks guys. And if anything else comes up as far as events, we'll definitely love to invite you guys back. You've been a wonderful audience. So, and it looks like Luna thanks, Marcy, wants to go get out for a WALK here before the sun goes down. So thank you again, everybody.
Una, Matt said walk.
Thanks. Okay, bye guys.
Thanks guys. See you.
Guys.
Bye, Meg.
Bye, Mama.
I was going to say something about mindfulness because I think that's a really hard practice for people to do, is to be mindful.
Mm-hmm.
And to when you're mindful, then you're making the time to kind of graduate from that step of having to do the timer, right? Doing the timer is the first step because you're out of practice and you're not, capable of being mindful enough to take those moments, whether you're just making a cup of tea, just to relax, say something positive to yourself, right?
Well, maybe you were drinking, but I talked about how being mindful is also the practice of allowing your thoughts to come and not attaching a judgment to them. So training your mind to allow the thoughts to come and go and not reacting to them.
So what you're saying is that your idea of mindfulness in this setting is different than my interpretation of mindfulness.
Maybe.
And no, I wasn't drinking, I was listening.
Well, I don't know, maybe. There's a difference between like being engaged and being mindful, is what I was explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying like your steps, how you had them listed is correct because you have to go through those steps of practice to get to the point of being mindful so that you can just take the moment and be mindful. It's like, I smell that fresh air, or
I understand what you're saying, but yes, that's why I laid it out in that linear way as well. But yes, I didn't understand what you're saying, but yes. Yeah, I know. And like, I wanted to add in more stuff, but I like didn't want to give them too much free
No, that's
stuff.
enough.
That's why at the end I was like, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Cause I mean, I could talk all day about different strategies to be mindful,
Exactly.
different strategies to like get back to basics, like could build lots on it. But yeah, I think Matt wanted to stay on. I don't know why he didn't. He said we were going to debrief after.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I didn't know you were applying for the girls' passports, so that you were going to Mexico. Going without.
I don't have any plans to go to Mexico, but yeah, I want to get their passports done.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that to me a while before. You want to at least have their passports, which is a good idea because it's just good for ID and everything, right?
Yeah,
you taken?
Yep, do. But they're good. I can get them for 5 years. So it's like, even when they don't even look like that anymore, they'll still be valid.
You can't get them for 10 years for children, only for adults?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to check. I forgot they did the 10-year one.
Because I would think for children, they should do a fingerprint or something.
Yeah.
As part of their ID. Because they're growing, like, sure, ageism is ageism, but I think with the photograph, they have to be really specific because they're measuring. Are you even listening to me?
Oh. I have to go. I hear you.